Hey fans, me here for a comic show. I got a big stack of comics, mainly Image and Indie, but there's some other good gems in here. I didn't even mean to pun that. All right, Star Wars Darth Vader is perhaps the biggest book of the week. It got some advanced press of being the first appearance of the characters on the cover. One is Dr. Aphra, Dr. Aphra, and she's kind of like a hipster. Like she fixes up old droids, old destroyer droids, you know, from Naboo and all that stuff. And she is joining with Vader. Vader tries to recruit her, and let's just say the recruiting of her goes way better than the recruiting of Luke in Empire. And she has these two evil droids that look like kind of dark versions of 3PO and R2. That's not R5D4. It's actually a blastromech droid that just looks like an astromech droid. And there's a lot of early buzz on this, that it's first appearance of these characters and it's going for crazy on eBay or whatnot, but honestly, Gillen and LaRocca are really doing a great job with Vader, and I like this thing of Vader. You know, we had this stuff of like, oh, we had to build his reputation between Sith and A New Hope, but what about how his reputation was on the ropes after the Death Star blew up, and he's pretty much the only survivor of that, and other than the Emperor, who blames everything on him. So it's been a fun book. I like the idea of this evil villain Star Wars book. And, you know, of course, any of these new characters that weren't in Empire Jedi are probably going to die. They're probably dead. They're probably dead on arrival. But she was really cool. It was neat. And I'm really enjoying that book. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Number one, it's Hopeless. And this Walker artist, the art was awesome. And I'm kind of a Disney guy. You know, I've the annual passes, and my daughter's 5. I take her there like at least once a month, sometimes twice a month. And we actually rode Thunder Mountain Railroad for the first time, and she was so scared, but she wanted to do it. She was brave. She said, "Oh, I had a great time. It was awesome. It was fun." I was like, "You want to do it again?" She's like, "No." So anyway, this book is great. I like that they're building these mythologies around the rides. For all I know, there could have been mythologies around everything. You know, Disney has a great mythos and all that, but I didn't know anything about Thunder Mountain. You're waiting in line, and they have all this hokey, old-timey stuff they're talking about, and it's like the wildest ride in the West, and it's like whatever. But I like the book. I like that Marvel's doing these Disney books. So, and I'm in Orlando, so it definitely sells well. The only Marvel book, I mean, Marvel has Secret Wars coming up, and this new Avengers, crazy, crazy, crazy stuff happens that I can't really even talk about. Like, it's just full of death, and I'm definitely excited for Secret Wars. With DC, things are all wrapping up and getting ready for Convergence, and then the big June thing for DC. And this book, Future's End, there was a huge thing with Batman Beyond and Robin, Red Robin, last issue. That continues this issue. It's pretty nuts. Batman Eternal is winding up. There's a huge thing of the big bad in this. Can't really say, but it's awesome. Scott Snyder is killing it. And Multiversity Ultra comics, from the cover throughout this whole book, is talking to you as the reader, and not in the way that Morrison or others have done. Like, it's really telling you that you're gonna freaking die. You're gonna die, you're infected, this is all awful, and yeah, don't read this book. And I'm saying read it. It says don't read it on the cover, but it's basically everyone that's ever had the name Ultra in the DC multiverse, and it's ridiculously like fourth wall, like breaking the fourth wall. This like nukes the fourth wall. It's just a force to be reckoned with. It's way better than I'm describing it. I mean, say, oh, break the fourth wall is not about just making jokes or saying like, why'd you kill my family, Grant Morrison, like with Animal Man, which was brilliant. But I'm ready for Multiversity 2 to see how we make it out, and if I can make it out of this alive, because I'm infected. And then other stuff for DC, you have these covers. The Batman and Robin, this is the big thing with Robin with Powers, where we get some crazy stuff with that. You got the Harry Potter cover that a lot of people like. These are literally my two favorites. You got the Free Willy Aquaman, which I think this is like, it was worth doing this whole thing just for the Free Willy Aquaman. And the Justice League Dark with Beetlejuice. Just, oh my God, love it. And moving on, Image, Witches number 5, Scott Snyder. With this issue, I realized reading this that I am just as interested in the backstory of the main characters that aren't witches than I am of the overall mystery and of the what are these witches? It is cool that there's these monsters, these witches that have their own mythology that has not been played out, like zombies and vampires, et cetera, et cetera. But, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, Lost is, the TV show Lost let me down. And like, okay, sure, yeah, the mythology, the mystery, whatever. The characterization was so good. And I was digging the little backstory characterization in here and how it plays off of what is revealed now in the mystery now, and how that plays off of the characters' old wounds in their past that's revealed at the same time. Scott Snyder is a master at this. And it's cool to see characters in a horror where their old wounds are being repoked. It just makes it that more horrific. And I'm loving it. Autumn Lands, Tooth and Claw, number 5. I'm finally calling it Autumn Lands. And the book is beautiful. It's a beautiful book. It's so well done. I'm really hoping it's going to be a $10 trade that everyone can enjoy. Speaking of discounted prices, Invincible, they really want you to try this book. It even says it. We really want you to try this comic. That's why it's only 25 cents. Yes, it's only 25 cents. It's the first thing of the new story arc. And it, even if you haven't read anything, it recaps, basically spoils everything of 21 volumes of Invincible in just a few pages of recap. And then you're up to date with everyone else. There's a little bit of a time jump, and let's go, let's do it. And what I really like about Kirkman's Invincible is it took that whole teen hero and all the teen hero tropes and just does whatever it wants, where our heroes in the main books don't age. Well, he went from being a teenager to being a dad now. So, and not a teenage dad either. He's actually aged out of high school and all that. So I'm loving what Kirkman's doing with it. With this type of thing, can he do it forever? Will the same readers grow with the character and keep reading it? I don't know. Kirkman's the man. Walking Dead, this issue, we get to see what Michonne's been doing in the, there was that little jump in time, and we get to see that. That was awesome. And Ezekiel. And finally, Low Volume 1's out by Reminder. This is a nice $10 Volume 1. I've loved everything Reminder has ever done. I'm serious. I don't care how far back you go. Seriously, he just gets these protagonists that are just terribly flawed. Like, he can do that so well because he is a terribly flawed man, as I am a terribly flawed person. And just seriously, read Low. It's deep and it's dark, and I love it. Wayward, this is Jim Zub, and what is cool about this book is it's a girl that's half Japanese and she's going to Japan for the first time, and then it gets all kind of like Buffy, where instead of fighting vampires, she's fighting all of the mythological folklore creatures of Japan. And with the artist who lives in Japan, I've been told, and it feels this way to me not knowing, but I've been told that it is extremely authentic, that Japan is not just like this fantasy land like, you go to Frontierland at Disney World. Japan is a modern day Japan with people that like weird stuff that live normal lives. It's a modern Japan with Japanese folklore being real and all that magical stuff being real. And it's a $10 Volume 1. If you like it a lot, you can get issue 6, the first issue after that, right now, ready to go. Go for it. Going to more independent stuff out of Image, We Can Never Go Home. It's Black Mask. I read this ahead of time. This book feels punk rock. This book feels like Nemo felt back in the day with Wood and Cloonan. It's similar. It's teenagers that have slight powers, different powers, and they're not superheroes, and the powers don't actually help them in their lives. And from the title, they can never go home again. And also, like Nemo, there's a musical thing to it. It's a lot like Nemo, but God damn it, I like Nemo. And I really like this, and there's plenty of ways that it's not like Nemo, but Black Mask is a company to look out for. I've read in advance a lot of cool stuff they're doing with a lot of great creators, and it has a feel of a early Vertigo or some of those independent books back in the day that, basically tickles my comic funny bone. New volume of Nemo. Never know when this comes out for whatever reason. It's so sporadic, but every time I enjoy it. It's obviously Alan Moore and Kevin O'Neill, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It's a spinoff of that, so get it. whatever. I read everything Alan Moore ever does, except for his interviews, because those infuriate me. But his actual books are great. Moving on to the franchise stuff, the pop culture stuff. Miami Vice Remix. This book was hella fun. Like, seriously. It's Joe Casey and Jim Mafood, and it's just so much, it is to Miami Vice what that new Transformers G.I. Joe is to those franchises. It takes it not just modernizes it, it takes modern sensibilities of, hey, this is, some stuff was a little bit corny, some stuff we kind of rode the edge on, rode the line because it was on TV, and this is just, there's just cocaine and strippers everywhere. And there's even like a nose candy gag in the back about Miami Vice. Watching is easy, like taking nose candy off a baby. Like, why would a baby have nose candy? I don't know, but this book was fun. The second biggest book of the week for me after Vader is Jim and the Holograms. And to say it's truly outrageous would be very cliche and corny. But when you have one of my favorite artists in comics, Ross Campbell, who is now going by Sophia Campbell because he is transitioning, which is crazy with the metaphor of Jerrica Benton not being comfortable in her own skin and not being comfortable to be a singer, even though she has a great voice, like he's a great artist. And then Synergy comes on and helps Jerrica transition into this larger than life star that is what she really feels inside. There's a lot of right metaphors to talk about, but this book really captured a lot of this stuff from the TV show, but it's new, it's modern, it's everything that I loved. And Ross Campbell, you know him from Wet Moon, you know him from Glory. I actually wanted him to be the replacement artist on Rat Queens because he does such a great job of different body types for the characters. And he's making these characters, the holograms, different body types, even though in the show they're all, obviously just cookie cutter. So if you have ever liked Jim, or if you know anyone that has ever liked Jim, get them this book. Support Jim and the Holograms. Support Sophia Campbell and Kelly Thompson writing it. It's a great book. I really enjoyed it. And finally, Doctor Who. Doctor Who is out in hardcover from Titan, both the 10th and 11th Doctor. I just have the 10th in my hand because Diamond shorted me all my copies of the 11th Doctor. Imagine that. It got lost in some kind of timey-wimey weirdness. I'm sure they'll regret the error and get it to me in a emergency fashion that means maybe a week or two. So that's sarcasm. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.